Saudi Arabia's $55 billion Electronic Arts takeover set to close next week. Electronic Arts is officially moving closer to a new era as the company prepares to complete its $55 billion acquisition by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. According to a recent filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, EA confirmed that all required regulatory approvals for the deal have been received. The company expects the acquisition to close officially on August 4th, 2026, assuming the remaining standard closing conditions are completed. The takeover is unlikely to face major regulatory resistance. Unlike Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which faced scrutiny over concerns about competition within the gaming industry, the EA deal is primarily a change in ownership rather than a merger between two major publishers. However, the acquisition has generated significant controversy because of who will control EA once the deal is complete. Yeah, no kidding. The purchase will take EA private, placing the company under the control of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, which is chaired by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Saudi government has faced international criticism over its human rights record, including allegations connected to the 2018 killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Concerns over the new ownership have already affected parts of EA's community. Several major Sims 4 creators left EA's creator program in 2025 following news of the planned acquisition. Content creator Little Zimzy said the values associated with EA's new ownership did not align with her own beliefs, pointing to concerns over Saudi Arabia's treatment of women and LGBTQ plus communities. Oh yeah, yeah, you really think I know the idiots in America that believe that Muslim and LGBTQ can coexist, but that's not reality. Former BioWare lead writer Trick Weeks also voiced concerns about the company's future direction, suggesting that EA's major sports and action franchises would likely remain unaffected, while games and content involving social issues or LGBTQ representation could face greater scrutiny. You don't have to worry about that because either A, the game's not going to feature that content, or second, the game's not going to be released, period. Beyond cultural concerns, the financial structure of the acquisition has also raised questions. The $55 billion purchase is expected to become the largest leveraged buyout in history, with EA taking approximately $20 billion in debt as part of the deal. Large acquisitions in EA, they're going to be $20 billion in debt after this? Okay. Large acquisitions involving significant debt often lead companies to reduce costs and focus heavily on their most profitable franchises. For EA, that could mean prioritizing major revenue generators such as Battlefield and EA Sports FC while taking a closer look at less predictable projects. Critics of the acquisition have argued that the deal could negatively impact creativity and consumer choice. Players Alliance HQ, a group that has previously protested the takeover, criticized regulators for approving the purchase and warned that private investment groups and foreign governments gaining control of major gaming companies could create risk for the industry. Gaming depends on creativity and freedom, the group argued, stating that it plans to continue monitoring EA's decision under its new ownership. I wonder how long that's going to last. Despite the controversy, a major roadblock to the acquisition never appeared likely. One of the investment partners involved in the deal is Affinity Partners, founded by Jared Kushner, former President Donald Trump's son-in-law. Trump has maintained a close relationship with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, while current Federal Trade Commission Chair Andrew Ferguson has also been a prominent supporter of Trump. With regulatory approval complete, Electronic Arts is now preparing for one of the biggest ownership changes in gaming history. The coming years will determine whether the acquisition simply changes who owns EA or whether it reshapes the company's games, priorities, and relationships with players. Um, yeah, with Saudi Arabia owning EA Electronic Arts, I is there anyone out there that really doesn't think that things are going to change once they take control? Seriously, um, anyone with an IQ over 80 can can see that, of course, things are going to change. They're not going to continue releasing games the way they've been released. You might be playing on the other side of in the next Battlefield, if this does go through. Um, Games that are LGBTQ friendly are going to be MIA. They're not going to exist anymore. So, you know, and I saw someone leave a stupid comment saying, "Well, who cares? Um, who's releasing the games that you want to play? You still get to play them. Not if the game that you want to play has aspects that goes against the country's beliefs. This is So I mean, while Saudi Arabia may not be the most controlling country, it's still a Muslim country. So, like I said, I expect The Sims to be a dead franchise. Who knows what's going to happen to the American sports? The Madden series, the college. Was college football also under the EA umbrella, or was that a different company? But still, any sports that was under the EA, I have no idea what's going to happen there, if they're going to continue or not. Um, yeah. So, and like I said, when it comes to like war shooters, they're obviously not going to have anything that paints them in a bad light allowed to be released. So, I really highly doubt that they're going to buy this company and just let things run stat quo. Because another thing, if things running stat quo were so great anyway, why the sale in the first place? So yeah, um, anyone who I would be totally surprised if EA's games are going to remain unchanged and come out like they were. But I just don't see that, especially if a game goes against something that they fully believe in. They being Saudi Arabia. So I mean, and don't fool yourself. Like when WWE goes over there to produce wrestling events, if the women get booked, they still have to wrestle like in full length suits because they can't show any skin below the neck. So, exactly what makes you think that's not going to affect, say, something like The Sims? Yeah, I might not have any more jokes to make about The Sims if this goes through on August 4th. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with the sports franchises, and I'm really think you're kidding yourself if like any war shooters are not going to be impacted by this as well. Uh, but only time will tell to see if I'm wrong